and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
You know how furious I get when sports teams won't spend their money, when we seem to care more about winning than they do. But spending too soon can be an issue in professional sports. It burned the Diamondbacks a couple of different times in their history, and clearly it's an issue with our NFL franchise because the Cardinals have lots of salary cap space and money they will not spend. They have a roster void of impact players. They have a core group of starters who barely played during the preseason, and to be honest, it appears like they are waiting until 2025 to be a serious contender. What else could the conclusion be? Michael Bidwill once promised a new stadium would mean no more underwhelming rosters. After firing Cliff Kingsbury, he also said the team would live with the financial consequences, as in the team, not us. And if this is an Ossenfort decision, it is a stark admission at how far the Cardinals fell under their previous general manager, and it kind of cements the folly of Bidwill's prolonged loyalty to Steve Keim and those contract extensions he handed out while the program was crumbling. So maybe patience is the smart play in 2024, but the strategy does come with serious risk, because if Kyler Murray turns out to be a fireworks show and an MVP candidate in the months ahead, and the defense can't get off the field, then somebody in that building made a serious mistake. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Sense of urgency is high as I'm sitting here right now. But yeah, and I think it goes into what we just talked about with cuts yesterday. For us too, there's a starting line now that's becoming very clear in your vision. So I don't want to say that our urgency is going to pick up, but it needs to pick up.
That is Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Cardinals. Monday, yesterday was roster cutdown day. Cardinals at 53 right now. There's going to be some shuffling. We saw a great deal of shuffling after the initial 53 was set last year. First roster for Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon. They did a fair amount of shopping, and they found some guys that helped them. I mean, Elijah Higgins was in that group, and he's on this team again, making the team as a tight end. Look, the point you're bringing up, the salary cap space that's out there, it's a thing. Like the Cardinals have among the most salary cap space available.
They are among the top 5 in the NFL. Now, granted, they are still spending a lot of money, but there has been a gigantic increase in salary cap space.
Yes.
And so that has kind of inflated what these numbers look like, but it's still money you could spend if you chose to. And the Cardinals are choosing not to. So what I am doing, because you know how I get in stories like this, because I want full commitment from all of our owners. I think we deserve nothing less. But I will acknowledge that the Diamondbacks twice, maybe 3 times in the past 25 years, went in and spent money when they thought they were close to winning, and they were not close enough to make it matter, and the whole plan fell apart. And that's happened a couple of times. They've thread that needle this year. This year, they're doing it exactly the way you're supposed to.
Sure.
You've got the foundation, you've got the young players, now you layer in the expensive items. Okay, so who is making this decision, and what does it mean for the current? Clearly, I look at this defense, and I say to myself, they're really going to have to get a lot of guys playing well above what we think they're capable of for this defense and this team to be a playoff contender. And the danger in this strategy is if this offense really pops, and we have no idea if it will, because we've seen none of these guys in the preseason.
True.
We've seen footage of Marvin Harrison Jr. burning and smoking fools off the line of scrimmage, but we haven't seen much. But it's a possibility, knowing what we know about Kyler Murray. And if you believe that Kyler Murray is about to burst, and you know my belief on this, it's either happening this year or it's never happening for him. That's my viewpoint. He's healthy. He's got perspective. He's got experience. He's had 5 years in the league to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
If he's going to be a superstar, there's going to be no more waiting. It's going to happen now. And if it does happen now, then you hope this defense can play well enough to make it matter.
Yeah, but in terms of the available cap space, look, there's nobody out there that you're just going to bring in as a free agent right now that's going to
Not now.
shift your winning.
Yeah.
Now, could they make a trade? In New York, Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets, is talking about he's not ruling out Hassan Reddick being available for week 1. Hassan Reddick got traded from the Eagles to the Jets. He wants a new contract. Apparently, the Jets didn't get that memo because he's not participated in anything they've done. And now he's circulating workout videos, staying ready on his own. Could the Cardinals go down that road? That would obviously affect their spending for this year. And I'm a big fan of Hassan Reddick. We interviewed him 100 times when he was here. Mm-hmm. Nice guy, turned into a really good pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to elevate? I don't know. Look, everybody always talks, and I've talked about this. You could talk about quick turnarounds in the NFL, and we're coming off a season last year where there was the picture of a quick turnaround team, and that was the Houston Texans, who were the dregs of the league for 2 to 3 years, and they made some shrewd moves. They drafted some really good rookies, and they got massive contributions from those rookies, and they became a playoff team, and they're going to be a playoff team contender for a very long time. Do the Cardinals feel that they are there? Should they in year 2 after a 4-win season? I'm torn on this because I agree with you. The whole playing hard thing and winning 4 games, that was 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to play hard, win 7, and I think 7 is reachable. If you get to 8, if you find a way to steal a 9th, then you're talking, but about a potential playoff spot. I don't know if I feel that strongly that there's a player out there right now that can help you. You want the best players available. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you used the term earlier in the show about Nick Rawlis. He's going to have to scheme. He's going to have to piece
to junk
together.
up a defense again.
Yeah, junk it up and find ways to generate pass rush. We don't know what and it's all complicated by the other point you made, and that is we don't know what this defense really looks like because last year the key members of the team on that defense were mostly hurt. Now they're coming back, but we haven't seen them in the preseason. There's a great deal of mystery, but I get your frustration.
Well, yes, again, because if you've got the quarterback component and you're paying him like a franchise quarterback, you would expect there to be an all-in component to what you're doing right here and now. But I'm also sensitive to this because I do believe in Monty Ossenford and Jonathan Gannon, and I like the direction this thing is going. I'm just wondering about the timeline and if they're selling themselves short via this timeline. Look, I also know that Michael Bidwell's not Arthur Blank. I understand that. I understand that he's not Matt Ishbia. He doesn't have $1 billion business over here that can make the football team be a loss leader for him, right? Matt Ishbia can look at the Phoenix Suns and say, yeah, I could take a $30 million haircut on this team. Yeah. No problem.
It's rough when you've only got the $1 billion football team as your sole business.
Well, again, I'm not making too many excuses, but I'm just saying from a mindset,
sure,
it can be different. Maybe Monty Ossenford, maybe it's the smart thing to make sure you've got a real solid, wide, deep base of young, homegrown players that have been acquired through the draft. And if that is the case, as I said in the blast, it's not only a further indictment of the final years under Steve Keim, it's also an indictment of the organizational's loyalty to that regime that brought us here in the first place.
True. And we haven't really talked about maybe the biggest bummer of yesterday, and that is the decision to put Darius Robinson on injured reserve. Now, it's not season-long injured reserve. He's got to miss at least the first 4 games. There's no timetable, but that could be a crucial blow to this defense early in the season that they might not be equipped to overcome. Quite honestly, again, we don't know.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.